So let's begin by adopting a stable, comfortable, upright position, serviceable for meditation. So we think about keeping our feet flat and our back straight, torso open, hands in the lap right over left with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching. Our eyes are gently closed or slightly open, making sure we let in enough light to remain alert. We try to maintain an awareness of not slouching, not leaning, but we also let go of any unnecessary tension or rigidity in the body, relaxing into a stable, comfortable, upright position. And we begin to cultivate the view of letting go of attending to the environment, allowing sights and sounds to be as they are without investigation. Moving our awareness inward, constraining it just to the body and mind. Concentrating that awareness in the present by attending closely to the physical sensation of the air moving into and back out of the tip of the nostrils. Noticing quickly when anything other than that one physical sensation is arising in the mind, and without judgment or frustration, lifting your awareness up from those distractions and placing it gently but firmly again and again on the breath. And then generate a broad and altruistic motivation for your time, wanting to use this time to familiarize the mind with beneficial states, tendencies, habits, wanting to reduce the mind's familiarity with states that are not beneficial, that agitate and disturb one's own mind and motivate actions that often cause harm to others. wanting to engage in this process of genuinely transforming the mind in order to be of greater and greater benefit to sentient beings over time. And with that motivation, today we will finish the contemplation that we began yesterday on addressing the false view of permanence that we struggle with. So, yesterday we contemplated the certainty of death. In the first contemplation, today will be the uncertainty of the time of death. So, the first point that we can contemplate is that within the human realm, there is no common or expected lifespan. There is no reason to think that those in the human realm are guaranteed any amount of time. We can certainly bring to mind numerous examples of people younger than us who have died. And we know that someone can be young and healthy and still end up passing away before someone who's elderly and ill. So bring to mind many different examples of people dying unexpectedly. And then the next contemplation is that there are many different causes of death. There are numerous external causes. These can include natural disasters or accidents or violence, even dangerous animals. There are also many internal causes. There are hundreds of different diseases, viruses, bacteria. There are different weaknesses of the body that we may or may not be aware of, can cause sudden death, heart attacks, strokes, aneurysms. And even the things that normally support our life, the food and water that we consume, can be contaminated, tainted in some way that could bring about the end of our life. Even the medicines that we take can have side effects or interact, or we could be given the wrong dose. So think of not just the people that you know who have died or that you've heard of, but the way in which they passed away. Coming to terms with the varieties, of the means of death. And then the third Contemplation is the fragility of the human body. The body can be injured or struck with illness so easily. Something millions of times smaller than the human body can bring about our death within a matter of days. So think of times when you yourself were very sick, or times when the body was injured. And think how easily that could happen again. And by contemplating these 3 points, reviewing them, trying to give rise to the determination to not only energize your practice as you contemplated yesterday, but to put effort and energy right now as the future is so uncertain. Trying to give rise to that strong determination and rest your mind in it without distraction. And then the third contemplation is that at the time of death, it is only our spiritual practice, the habits and tendencies that we've cultivated that are of any benefit. So during this contemplation, try to imagine yourself on your deathbed. At that time, you would likely be surrounded by friends and family. But think that the process that you are undergoing can only be experienced by oneself alone. As the mind loses connection more and more to this life, that those loved ones, those friends, can't directly influence the process that's unfolding. And if we are experiencing strong attachment, fighting against what's happening, we might activate negative karma that we don't want to activate at that time. We may not experience that process as peacefully as we could. So think if attachment to friends and family might be an obstacle to what's inevitably happening at that time. Also, at that time, we may be surrounded by possessions. We may be in control of a certain amount of wealth, but at the moment our breath stops. Every possession and every dollar will belong to someone else. So think here if attachment to material possessions could become an obstacle at the moment of death, clinging to certain material possessions, not wanting to let them go. Think of how you might reduce that reliance, that dependency. And then think that at the time of death, even my own body is of no benefit. My body that I have cherished, nourished, fed, bathed, protected. At the time of death, this closest companion is what ultimately is the cause of my death. Think if there's any fear of that separation, and see how that fear will only again be an obstacle. And by contemplating these 3 points, try to arrive at the conclusion that not only must I practice, not only must I practice now, but I must practice purely, diligently, with great effort in order to be prepared for the time of death, in order to have put in the right tendencies and habits, familiarities into the mind, as these will protect me during the death process. Try to rest your mind single pointedly in that determination. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together and we'll dedicate to recollect your altruistic motivation and think that by having engaged in this contemplation, you've actualized that motivation, created positive energy in the mind, which you freely offer for the benefit of all sentient beings without exception. Thinking may that positive energy serve as a cause and condition to eliminate war and conflict, poverty, famine, disease, disasters, all painful inner and outer conditions. May it fully ripen the minds of all sentient beings. May they quickly meet perfect teachers and arise in the state of full enlightenment. May I too achieve the state of enlightenment in order to work for the benefit of sentient beings perfectly. May any obstacles facing the Guru's long life be completely dispelled, and may I and all sentient beings in this moment come under the joyful care and guidance of enlightened beings. May we be guided and protected until we swiftly achieve that state of enlightenment. Thank you.